Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Before we get into today's video, please do me a small favour. Make sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and give the video a like. The question for today's show is this: would you sell Bruno Fernandes to Saudi Arabia? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Massive talking point here. It's pretty much the only story that's being dominated in the news at the moment. Every single radio show's discussing it. Every single fan channel, Twitter account, even the rival fans are talking about it. So, of course, we are going to have our say on that exact topic on this morning's show. So get in the comments right now, pause the video, and let me know, would you sell Bruno Fernandes to Saudi Arabia for £100 million this summer? We are going to do a poll. So anybody who's watching the video live, you can get involved in this. The question will be simple. Would you sell Bruno Fernandes to Saudi for 100 million? And make sure you like the video, everybody. This is going to be... I'm back now. I've had a little bit of a break. I went on holiday for a week. We are going to be going full throttle on the channel now throughout the transfer window. So please support the channel, like the videos, comment on the videos, subscribe to the channel. You know what to do. The question is this: would you sell Bruno Fernandes to Saudi for 100 million? The poll is now set up, so you can get involved in that. If you're watching the video not live, you won't be able to obviously get involved in the poll. So what you'll have to do is get in the comments now, and you can have your say that way. I'm usually live in the mornings and in the evenings, all right? So if you do want to watch the videos live, that's the best way to do that. So let's do a little bit of a recap of what's going on with this Bruno Fernandes story before I give my opinion on it. So a couple of days ago, it was reported that Bruno Fernandes' agent met I think it was the chief CEO of Al Hilal in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at the Four Seasons Hotel. It's also reported that apparently he has been offered around £700,000 a week, tax-free, plus bonuses, which could see him earn in total around £60 million per season to go and play in Saudi, completely tax-free. He's been offered a 4-year contract. So, I mean, if you work that out right, this is actually mad. He could potentially earn £240 million tax-free over a 4-year period. £250 million. And that's just from playing football. You know, if he... I know we're not a finance channel, but if that money was then invested into other things, which I'm sure it would be, £250 million in 4 years. Like, that's life-changing money. I mean, it's not even life-changing money. That's generations-changing money. His children's, etc. would be sorted for eternity. To give you a bit of context, at Manchester United, he earns about 18 million. So he's going to be earning roughly 4 times the amount. And it would be 100% tax-free. That 18 million in the UK... I would imagine at least half of that would be paid in tax. So he probably walks away with maybe £8 or £9 million, which is still a lot of money, don't get me wrong. 8 or 9 million is a hell of a lot of money. But to earn 60 million tax-free, it's crazy. And, you know, the story's saying, like with Ronaldo, you know, they'll pay for all of his accommodation. They'll pay for him to have a private driver. He'll have his own, not helicopter, what do you call it? He'll have his own plane. He'll have all of these crazy things at his disposal that he'll be readily available to him, which will be all paid for by, well, it's by the Saudi government, really, isn't it? But I mean, it's mental. It's a mental amount of money. And the question is this: would you sell him for 100 million? Would you do it? So that was the latest earlier on this week, that apparently his agent met in Saudi to discuss a deal. I mean, the fact that his agent's flown to Saudi to discuss a deal kind of sums it up for me. And you know what, right? I'm going to say this from the off. I don't actually think it's that bad of a move for Bruno Fernandes in his career. He is, I think he's turning 31 this year. Let me just double check that. He turns 31 in September. So yeah, he's 31 in a couple of months, right? Is going to Saudi actually a step down from playing for Manchester United at the moment? Can you honestly put your hand on your heart and say leaving Manchester United, who finished nearly in the relegation zone, is worse than going to play in Saudi? I actually don't think it's worse. And I know some people will think, what the hell are you talking about? The Premier League is the biggest league in the world. We're an embarrassment. He's not going to win anything at Manchester United. We're not going to be in the Champions League. We're not in the Europa League. We're not going to win the Premier League. We're realistically probably going to have another poor season next year. We'll probably finish in the top 10. Ruben Amorim could well get sacked by Christmas. This is just realistic. This might not happen. Hopefully we're sat here in 6 months and we're top of the Premier League and have won every single game. And, I would want nothing more than that to happen. But let's be realistic here. Do we honestly think that this season we're going to be winning the league or competing for any trophies? I don't think so, personally. So him going to Saudi Arabia, who I'm playing for a team who could well win the Saudi Pro League, and also a team who are going to be playing in the Club World Cup, right? He's going to be competing in the Club World Cup, the first ever Club World Cup to have been hosted. I actually don't think it's a bad move for him, like, realistically, especially when you look at the finances involved in it. And also when you look at some of the other deals that Al Hilal are trying to do this summer. They're speaking to apparently Theo Hernandez at the moment to try and convince him to come to Saudi. So, these Saudi teams mean business. And I would actually have maximum respect for him if he went and did it. So yeah, for me, I would say yes, 100%. I would sell him for 100 million. I saw a story this morning, right? Now this is going to blow your mind. I saw a story this morning. This is from a very reliable finance journalist, okay, who only talks about finances in relation to football. But they said that because the Bruno Fernandes transfer fee would be classed as pure profit, and the reason for that is because we have paid off all of his transfer fee that we paid Sporting Lisbon. So on our books, if we were to sell Bruno, it would be classed as pure profit, okay? So it doesn't have to be a player who's come through the youth academy to be classed as profit on the PSR books. It's a little bit strange. It's the same with Dallo. He'd be pure profit. There's a couple of other players where we've paid off their transfer fee. So if we were to sell them on our books, it would just show as a profit. So this journalist is saying that apparently if we were to sell him for 100 million this summer, it would allow us to spend comfortably around 250 to 300 million pounds on players. Obviously that would have to be in installments. We wouldn't be able to do 250 to 300 in one go. But in relation to PSR, we would be allowed to spend 250 to 300 million in 1 year. Imagine what we could do with 250 to 300 million. And that doesn't obviously include Antony, Rashford, Garnacho. Who else might leave? Maybe Casemiro, maybe, I don't know, whoever else, right? That doesn't include any of those other players. So just from selling Bruno Fernandes alone, it would allow us to spend 250 to 300. Then you add in 40 for Rashford, 40 for Antony. Maybe you sell Onana. You could add another 100 million on top of that easily. So, already you say, right, Mateus Cunha is 60 million. You say maybe a goalkeeper, 30, 40 million. You say Gyökeres, 60 million. I mean, that alone is only 160 million for those three players. And I'm saying here that we could be spending 300 to 400 million if we were to sell Bruno and sell Antony and Rashford. So, for me personally, I have no attachment to any of these players at Manchester United anymore, literally. And make of that what you will. There's a couple that I like. I like Lenny Yoro. I think he has potential. Who else do I like? I don't really know. That's probably it. I think Lenny Yoro has high potential, a high ceiling. I like Ahmad, actually. I like Ahmad. Who else do I like? I like Aiden Heaven. I think he's got potential. I mean, again, all of these players I'm saying, they have potential. None of these players are the finished article. But other than those three, I like the look of Sako Kone. I like the look of Shea Alisi in those friendlies, the last couple of friendlies. I like the look of Chido Obi Martin. But other than that, I mean, I'm not that fond of Garnacho. I think Mainu's fallen off a cliff. I think Ugarte's pretty average. I mean, Maguire, I rate Maguire, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he's world class. I just think he's been all right for us. But the point I'm making here is, like, I've said this many, many times before, and nothing has changed. I said this before we lost the Europa League final, that for me personally, I would be selling like literally every single player in this team. Like 90% of these players should be sold. And realistically, that's probably not going to happen. So the only way that we can really, truly fund a whole squad rebuild is by selling Bruno Fernandes. And I know some people are going to say, oh, we would be relegated if we didn't sell him and all of this stuff. But I don't buy into that. I really don't. My argument for this is, I think If we were to sell Bruno Fernandes, I think it would completely change our way of playing football. Like, Bruno Fernandes is a talented footballer, don't get me wrong, but he gives the ball away too much. And I don't want to say he's stat pads, but for every goal and assist he gets, he gives the ball away another 10 times. So on paper, his stats are absolutely phenomenal, don't get me wrong. He is a quality player. But when you look at his overall game, I think we could completely transform the way we play if we were to be clever with this money that we potentially get from him. So, yeah, the poll is now set up. Let's have a look at the results so far. 84% of people watching the video this morning would sell Bruno Fernandes. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I say it's crazy. It's not really, is it? So the latest this morning is that apparently Al Hilal have given Bruno Fernandes 1 week to decide before they walk away from the deal. The story also says that apparently Al Hilal will pay whatever Manchester United want, and they'll give Bruno Fernandes whatever he wants. I mean, that's mental, isn't it? The transfer fee this morning is being reported somewhere around 100 to 150 million pounds. There are some journalists reporting that apparently Manchester United would want it to break the record for the largest British transfer record, which I believe was Moises Caicedo from Brighton to Chelsea. Is that right? Might be wrong, actually. No, that's wrong. The biggest ever transfer fee was Coutinho to Barcelona. That was 135 million euros. Second biggest was Enzo Fernandez. I mean, how much is 135 million euros in pounds? Let's have a look. Euros to pounds. The transfer rate might have changed. It's about 113 million. I would say to them, you know what? We want a record transfer. British record transfer. He's got one of the best assists in Europe, stats-wise. You know, he's got the best goals, best assists. We want 120 million. Take it or leave it. They've got an endless amount of money in Saudi. There's no issue with money there. It would be a massive signing for the Saudi Pro League to be able to bring in Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, I would be asking for that. Everyone who's just joined the video, please do me a favour. If you're watching for the first time, please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And please make sure to like the video as well. We've got 350 people watching live this morning, and we've only got 74 likes. So please do go and like the video. I'd really, really appreciate that. And make sure you subscribe as well. Let's see how many subscribers we are on. We're very close to 42,300. So please go and subscribe right now. But yeah, keeping on the topic of Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Amorim has said the following. Ruben was asked about Bruno Fernandes in his post-match interview yesterday. He says, I talked to Bruno, and when you talk to someone, you feel he wants to stay. He knows what we're planning to do. Every time I talk to him, I have the feeling that he wants to continue, but you never know. I mean, I don't really know what to make of that. The next story here says that Al Hilal are not dismissing the fact that they are willing to break the British record transfer to sign Bruno Fernandes. Then Ruben Amorim has said, everyone knows that next season will be very important. They know that next year we will have to be much better. I mean that's kind of obvious, isn't it? And then it also says here that if Al Hilal bids... Sorry, it's Al Hilal, not Al Nassr. It says if Al Hilal bids, Bruno Fernandes is likely to leave. If United gets contacted, it means that Bruno has already agreed. It's now up to the player. I think he's going to go, personally. I see no reason for him to stay at Manchester United. Zero. Realistically. We're not going to be in Europe. We're not going to be challenging next year. He's getting older. He's 31 in a couple of months. He's still going to play for the Portuguese national team. You know? He's not going to get dropped by them. Like, what difference does it really make? You go to another country and earn 60 million a year tax-free and play in the Club World Cup, or you stay at Manchester United, you probably finish maybe in the top 10 and you win nothing. So if I was him, I actually think it's... I mean, this is going to sound terrible, but I actually think it's a positive step for him, especially financially. You know, it's not like he's playing for Man City or Liverpool and he's deciding to choose money over trophies. You know, he's playing for a team who nearly got relegated, who couldn't even beat Tottenham, who haven't won a trophy in 17 years in a final and had their worst season in Premier League history. He's leaving that to go to a league which at the moment is still rising, but it does have decent players, you know, like Ronaldo's there, Benzema's there. You know, there are some big name players over in Saudi, as we all know. So I don't think it's actually that bad for him. I don't think it's that embarrassing for him. So I have respect for Bruno if he decides to leave. But yeah, would you sell him? Let me know. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. David says it should be 120 million. Someone else says 150 million. Show United says the money is too much for him to turn down. Yeah. Somebody else says Bruno should go. We know that this system of play helps him, but not the team. Yeah, I 100% think he should leave. I would be a little bit sad, but at the same time, I don't think any of these players deserve to stay, bar maybe Ahmad, Lenny Yoro, Aiden Heaven, Chido Obi, and the youth players. I honestly think the rest of them should be sold and moved on. Every single one of them. And people are going to think maybe you're being dramatic and all the rest of it, but we've had our worst season in Premier League history. None of these players deserve to wear the Man United shirt, in my opinion. Not a single one of them, bar the couple of names I just mentioned there. So yeah, no one is unsellable. Let's see what else. Richard says this is our Coutinho moment. It is. This is our Coutinho moment. We sell him, we reinvest that money, and we rebuild the squad. Somebody in the chat says, if we lose Bruno, I want Wharton from Crystal Palace. The thing is, right, I don't disagree with you. I think Adam Wharton is an incredible talent, but I think it's going to be difficult because they've just got European football, right? They're going to want 70 to 100 million for him, and I don't think that's the best use of funds, personally. And realistically, right, we need attacking midfielders. We've got a fair amount of defensive midfielders. We've got Casemiro, who's obviously not going to go anywhere. We've got Toby Collier. We've got Manuel Ugarte. We've got Sekou Kone. There's probably some other people I've forgotten, right? We need to bring in another defensive midfielder, probably. Like Edison, I would say, from Atalanta, right? That then means that we need to strengthen in the attacking midfield area. We've got Mason Mount. We've got Xerxes. We've got, what's his name? My brain's gone. I can see his face in my head. Mateus Cunha will be a player for Manchester United. Kobbie Mainoo can play as an attacking midfielder. We do have a fair few attacking midfielders, but I think, if we were able to go and get a big name attacking midfielder, I'm not sure that Adam Wharton is the right player. I think he's going to be too expensive. I think we need to look to the European market. Personally, I think we need to be wise with this money. I'm all for selling Bruno Fernandes, but only if they invest the money properly. If they waste this money, then I'd rather just keep Bruno. And I know it's easy to say that because we can't tell the future, right? We can't tell how Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe, the Glazers are going to spend this money. Are they going to throw it down the drain? Are they going to blunder it? Are they going to make us go backwards? Possibly. Maybe we'll look back on this moment and say, why the hell did we sell Bruno Fernandes? They just went and bought loads of rubbish players. That's possible. But we have to have a little bit of faith in the team, in the board, to go and invest properly. So who would I go for as his replacement? So we know that we're going to get Mateus Cunha, right? So let's have a little think about this. So for next season, I think the back three, centre-backs wise, would be Lisandro Martinez, Lenny Yoro, and I'm probably going with Maguire or De Ligt, okay? Right wing back, I'm probably going to go with Amad Diallo as the right wing back. Left wing back, I'm probably going to go with Dallo or Patrick Dorgu, okay? Midfield, I would say probably Ugarte, and then maybe like an Edison, something like that. Attacking midfielders wise, I'd say Mateus Cunha and another player. I don't know who, somebody else to fill there. And then striker wise, I'm going for Gyökeres, 100%, or Osimhen, one of those two. If we sell Bruno, we have to go and bring in a Gyökeres or an Osimhen. We have to. We'll have the money to do it. We need to bring in a big name, a proven player. So yeah, for me, it would be either Gyökeres or Osimhen, one of those two players. That's what I would do. But let's move on to Gyökeres. So it looks like Arsenal were going for Benjamin Sesko, which is interesting. Let me have a little sip of my tea. So yeah, it looks like it looks like Arsenal are going to get Sesko. We know that Chelsea are going to get Liam Delap. Where does this mean that Gyökeres is going to end up? Can Ruben Amorim convince Gyökeres to come to Manchester United? Because If we have all this money from the Bruno Fernandes deal, Gyökeres or Osimhen becomes an option again. So who would I go for if I had to pick between the two? Who would I go for? Who would I go for? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? I'd be happy with either of those two players if it was Gyökeres or Osimhen. I don't really have a preference at this point. Yeah, I would happily go with either of them. I don't know what you guys think, but Gyökeres or Osimhen would be fine for me. If I had to pick, I'd probably go for Gyökeres just because he's worked with Amorim before, but I would be happy with either of them. But for argument's sake, I'd probably go with Gyökeres. And the other issue we obviously have is that the Saudi clubs are trying to sign Osimhen, and they're going to offer him apparently like £1 million a week with no tax. So we're never going to be able to match that. I think we'd offer him like 200-300 grand a week with tax included. So yeah. Yeah, I think Gyökeres is a good option. I'm excited about the prospect of Gyökeres. I don't think Osimhen's going to come to Manchester United. I think he's going to end up in Saudi personally, but I would happily welcome him at Manchester United. Moving on from there, let's talk a little bit about Rashford. So the latest on Rashford is that apparently Barcelona aren't willing to pay a transfer fee for him. Of course they're not. Typical. Apparently they're only willing to loan him. So, yeah, make of that what you will. Rashford needs to go. It's as simple as that. And he needs to go on a permanent deal. I don't want to see another loan. Barcelona need to pull the funds together and to buy him. It's as simple as that. So that's the latest on Rashford. In relation to Garnacho, do I think Garnacho will be a Manchester United player next season? I would be very surprised. I think the likelihood is he will end up at Napoli, I think. I think he pretty much said after that Europa League final that he'll see about his future in the summer and that he was very unhappy that he wasn't picked, which I think is fair. You know, there's a lot of questions about that Europa League final, the squad selection, the tactics, the inability to make substitutions until the 70th minute. And you know what? I'm not even going to bother talking about them anymore because I think it's done. We lost to Tottenham. It's over. Like, there's no point mulling over it. Everyone's still going to remember what happens. You know, Ruben Amorim is now walking on a tightrope. Whether you like that or not, he is. Awful in the Premier League. Managed to give Tottenham their first trophy in 17 years. You know, if he starts the season badly, it's not going to be good for him, realistically. And I'm not by any means saying I want him sacked. I want him to succeed. I think he's a good manager. Every manager that comes to Manchester United fails. It's as simple as that. So, you know, this isn't a dig at Ruben Amorim. I like him. I think he is a quality manager. He was brought in at the wrong time, didn't have the players to implement his tactics, and we failed. So all of the blame really is on Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe, the Glazers. We know that because they're the ones who were stupid enough to force him to join mid-season with a squad that didn't fit his tactics and expect him to work miracles. And he couldn't. And now he looks bad because of it. That's the narrative. So, yeah, there's not really much more to say on it. But obviously now the focus is going to be transfers. The focus is going to be getting rid of players. Obviously, we know that Johnny Evans has left. We know that Lindelof has left. Both of those players are out of contract. Tom Heaton has retired, I believe, so he's obviously gone as well. So there's 3 players out the door, and obviously Eriksen has gone as well. So there's 4 players: Lindelof, Eriksen, Tom Heaton, and Johnny Evans. Those 4 players have already left, each of which were earning around 100 to 150k a week. So already that's about 500-600 grand a week that's been saved in wages over the course of a season. It's about £20 million in wages saved, which is mental when you think about it. That Manchester United were paying 20 million a year in wages for Lindelof, Johnny Evans, Eriksen, and Tom Heaton. Like, why? How? Many questions, but they're gone anyway. Obviously, Johnny Evans is a legend of the club in the past, but yeah, he's retired as well, I think. See what else we got in the chat. Somebody's unhappy that we're selling our best players to Saudi. I don't really agree. I mean, our best player still helped us finish nearly in a relegation spot. None of these players deserve to play for Manchester United anymore, in my opinion, bar the few youth players. The rest of them should be gone. They should all be sold. Obviously you can disagree, but if someone's willing to pay us 100 million plus for Bruno Fernandes, I'm taking it and running. No doubt about it. You know, the narrative is that Saudi will pay whatever we want. Money's not a problem. They will give us whatever we like. It's as simple as that. Just seeing if there's any other stories to report on this morning. I mean, the main one's the Bruno story. There's a little bit of an update on Matheus Cunha. So this is coming out from Fabrizio. Fabrizio is saying that Matheus Cunha is awaiting his visa while United prepare for his arrival and medical ahead of joining the Brazil national team. I mean, there's not really much there, is it? We know that Matheus Cunha is coming to Manchester United. We've already had the here we go. I think it's, £60 million? I think it's a fair price. I'm excited. Will it transform our team on its own? No. But yeah, I'm still excited. It's a good player. Good to have in the team. Has Tom Heaton left? Yeah, I think his contract expired. He might be going into a coaching role potentially, I read, but he's not going to be in the team next season. So yeah. Right. I think we've covered everything on the show this morning. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me. I will be back doing videos every single day now. I had a little bit of a break. I went away for a week just to kind of reset after that Europa League final. The holiday was already planned, guys, just so you're aware. I didn't just disappear because of the Europa League final. I went on holiday and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to stop doing videos for a week just to refresh and reset. And I think it's done me a lot of good because the aftermath of that Europa League final was just horrible. You know, I still watch and look at Twitter and all the rest of it, and it was just like, yeah, it's a cesspit. But I feel like we're moving positively forward here. I feel like this transfer window is going to be a good one. I feel like we are going to rebuild. And yeah, we'll be back doing videos every single day. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it? What I will ask for you guys before you leave is to give the video a like. It really helps the channel out. And also be sure to subscribe as well. I'd really, really appreciate it. I can see lots of new people in the chat today. Make sure you subscribe. I usually go live every single morning around this kind of time, about 8 o'clock. And obviously, if anything breaks during the day, I will go live as well. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody who has watched the videos. Nah, I wasn't done after the final. I had a pre-planned holiday. I just went away. I think, yeah, it was good. It did me a load of good. But anyway, I'll speak to you all tomorrow. If anything breaks in the day, I will go live. Have a lovely Saturday, everybody, and I'll speak to you all later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bye for now.